I trust you folks can see me, hear me as well. Just give a thumbs up if you are able to see me and hear me. Nobody. That's strange.
Yes, we can see and
Okay,
hear you.
very good. Thank you so much. So,
Yeah,
good
you're good.
afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on which part of the world you are in. My name is Alan Mishra, Principal Trainer and Business Analyst at Adaptive US. I have been performing this role for close to 25, maybe 25, little over years. And I have also guided about 900 professionals to get CBAP certified and about 2,100 professionals to get IIBA certified. So this webinar is very focused on one specific aspect of CBAP preparation, which is to attempt numerical questions. So we will see how do we attempt these questions, and we will also try to do a live case during the webinar itself so that you can see how we are applying these formulas to our benefit. Just a quick note, where are you guys joining from? I believe many of you must be from US, but other than US, any other country?
Yeah, I'm from
Canada.
Canada.
Canada, okay, very good. Other than US, Canada,
Switzerland.
no? Switzerland, yeah, you said just now. I was trying to remember my short visit to Switzerland. Uh, then just three countries this time. That's a little surprising. Usually we get people from Europe as well, quite a lot of people. Sometimes people from Africa also join this program. Uh, Unlikely from Australia. That's why we do a separate webinar for Australia as well. And that is what I think my friend, what is her name? Ramiza had joined. So I said, okay, there is a program for US as well. So you hop into that program rather than joining the Australia one, which was post midnight for her. And thank you, Ramiza, again, making time and joining us today. And I congratulate all of you for taking an important step in your professional career. And I trust the 30, 40, 45 minutes that you will spend with us will really be valuable for you in terms of your preparation and some guidance on how you can complete your CBAP examination. Trust me, I have seen 10,000 plus business analysts. It's not 1 to 5. People who have taken the initiative to learn and get certified have found tremendous benefit. Like students have got sometimes up to 100% increase in salary. And I can show you ample examples of my past students' data. They're all available on the website. You can go and talk to them. If you wish to write to them, talk to them, you're welcome to do that as well. So trust me, things work, but just that you have to have patience and you have to kind of work it through. It's not an easy process to get CBAP. It takes about 4 to 6 months of effort, usually. Anything between 120 hours to 180 hours of study time. So it is an intense exam. It's not an easy exam to pass through, just like you study 2 days and get through. It doesn't happen that way. But the rewards are also quite good when you complete this. So I always keep asking this question to all my students, which product will get sold at a higher price? A branded product or an unbranded product? If you go to the market, which product will always be sold at a premium?
Branded.
Branded.
Correct. Yeah, naturally. A branded product will always be sold as a high price product. And remember, we all are products. That's why we have a concept called a job market. No, you must have heard this term called job market. That means there is a market for skills. Okay. And we are all skilled professionals and we would like to market our skills. And one of the way to indicate our knowledge about a subject or a skills on a subject is to get certified. Because once you get certified, you basically become a branded BA. And because of being a branded BA, you can always command a higher premium. So again, as I said, the webinar is very focused on just numerical questions. CBAP is a large topic. We teach about 40, 45 hours of content for CBAP alone. This is just one piece of the content which we cover it in one of our advanced modules for CBAP preparation. So as I said, We'll learn about it and we'll try to do a case live in the program. And also remember, there is an opportunity for you to get a benefit up to $749. That's quite a large benefit that you can get in case you sign up for the May cohort. So we have 2 cohorts starting in May, one on May 10th and one on May 15th. So if you wish to join any of these cohorts, you can get a benefit of up to $749. All of you should be able to get a benefit of at least $199, but some of you could get a benefit up to $749. Of course, charges. We will send you the presentation link. This session is being recorded, so you will get the presentation link, session recording, everything. Maybe it will take a day for us to organize the whole thing, but it will come to you within one day. So very simple questions. All of you, numerical means numbers. And some business analysts actually struggle quite a lot with this aspect, because most of us as business analysts probably came from a software development background. Either we were programmers or testers or technical writers, and then gradually we became a business analyst over a course of time. And being part of software projects usually does not expose you to many number calculations. It's not part of the job as such. But remember, as you become a senior business analyst, the language of business is money, and money is always counted through numbers. How much money is the company going to make? What is the project cost? What kind of return on investment we will get on this project? These kind of questions will always come to you as a business analyst. So what I will show you, there are one important document I will ask you to download. It's available on our website as well. But just for my benefit, I'm going to Thinkific because I know where to find it in Thinkific. But if you go to our website, you will also find the BA Formula Workbook. So I'm going to download the BA Formula Workbook, and that is something that I will use as part of my training process today. So I go to, I'm not sure if you, are you seeing a desktop or a presentation? 1 second, let me share my screen.
Presentation.
It's better. Yeah, I'll share my screen so that you can see from where I'm downloading this resource. Okay. But again, as I said, you can download it from our website as well. Go to our website and look for something called BABOK Formula Work. So if I come down here to something called reference materials. Yeah, maybe here. So I'm going to use this section a little bit more. So I'm going to download this workbook, which I have created specifically for CBAP students. Generally, I don't expect ECBA and CCBA folks to use this content because for them, this kind of questions will not come. So I come to my desktop, I save it here, and I'm going to open this. Okay. Maybe I had downloaded it before as well. So this one has all the formulas that BABOK contains. So all the number-based questions will come from, typically from this Excel workbook. You don't really need any other big resource to understand the number-based questions. I'll come to this, don't worry. And we have some cases as well, which we can see here itself. So back to the PPT, and if you see here, so obviously number-based questions are based on calculations, and it is not something like very advanced calculations that we are looking for. We are not looking at calculus or differential calculus or integration, nothing like that. It's simple addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and percentage. This is where most of the calculations will revolve around. And in the examination, you are given a system-based calculator, so you can use the calculator to calculate these numbers. The good part about these questions is that there is no subjectivity involved. Now, compared to other types of questions you get where there's a long text description, the organization is thinking like this, the person is thinking like that. Those are still little bit contentious, what you think, what the question setter might have had in his or her mind. There can be difference. No? Whereas because these are number calculations, there won't be much dispute. So there are straight formulas, you use them, and you get your questions computed. And typically these questions will be part of a case type question. So if you know CBAP question pattern, there are two types of questions that you get. One we call case type question, which is a long format question. And then we have scenario based questions, which are short scenario based questions. And obviously we would expect you to remember some formulas to use during this case type questions. And a lot of formulas will actually come from a technique called financial analysis. Okay. Because every project that we do in an organization must pay for itself. Otherwise, why would we do a project? So when you look at financial analysis calculations, we start with the cost part first. Say, for example, a company wants a supply chain system or a CRM system, whatever system they want. Either they will buy the system from some vendor or they will develop it in-house. And if you remember, and some of you may very well remember, that the cost of systems in the past used to be very high. I remember the project that I was talking of, which I worked in Europe, was a supply chain management system for 40 different countries around the world. And in the year 2000 itself, we had a budget of $400 million. Imagine $400 million being spent on an IT project in the year 2000. By today's calculation, it probably would be about $1.2 billion, maybe more, I would say. So that is the kind of money companies spent on IT projects. Now, those spends have really come down. If you see, when I talk to many of these new age business analysts, I ask them, what's the budget for your project? They'll say 100K, 200K, 500K. If you get $1 million project, you're generally happy that I'm doing a slightly larger project. Two reasons. One, a lot of products are now available, so you can buy them on the market, especially products are available in rental model. So instead of you buying the product, you can rent the product, which is what we do at Adaptive as well. So we needed a CRM system. We were thinking of building it. We did some development, but then we stopped and we said, it looks like very expensive affair. Why can't we go to the market and find a good CRM? So we found a CRM system called HubSpot, and we pay monthly rent and we use it. But anyway, from a technique perspective, you will typically have a cost of procurement or development in the beginning. That's what the major cost will go to. Then every system that you implement, maybe there was another system which you are trying to migrate or re-engineer or whatever. So you will have data present in the older system, which needs to be brought into the new system. That's what we call it as cost of transition. So typically it involves data migration and training. And here as a sample number, I have taken it as 200K. This can be any number which will be given to you in the case, or it may be asked to be computed. Then we have a third component of cost, which is what we call cost of usage. That means in order to use the product on an ongoing basis, you are spending money on maintenance, maybe people cost, maybe resource cost like hardware, software license. Those go into this particular bucket, and it is on an annual basis. And typically for a project, you will have a defined time period for which you will do the computation. In this case, we took the defined time period as 5 years. So you can talk to your stakeholders and say, what's a reasonable time frame to kind of consider for calculation? For IT projects, we generally don't take a very long-term horizon, like say 20 years. For physical projects, you can take like a building, a road. You can take 20 years, 30 years, 40 years as well, because in general, it would be believed that if a building is constructed, it will typically be useful for 20 years or 30 years. Whereas a software as such is changing so rapidly, it's very hard to tell the software that we write today or we buy today will actually be used beyond 5 years. Things are changing so rapidly. That's why maybe taking a little bit of pessimistic stand is always better. So when in accounting, we typically take a pessimistic road, not a very optimistic road. Because if you go after the optimistic calculation, most likely it may not happen. And then you will feel bad that whatever calculations you did not get the desired benefits. And stakeholders will complain that whatever numbers you projected, you actually did not meet, which is not a good thing. So when we combine all these costs together, we come to a number called total cost of ownership. It's a very simple formula. I trust all of you can remember. Now, suppose I give you an annual benefit of 300K. So for this project, what would be my total benefit? Can anybody say? I'm getting 300K benefit per year. So what is my total benefit that I will get? Not a hard question. All of you should be able to compute. Ramesh, so if you are getting 300K benefit per year, and I already have said that the project will be computed for 5 years, so what will be your total benefit? What happened? Everybody has gone so mute.
We
Silent.
multiply 300,000 per 5 years, basically, right?
Correct. That's all.
Yeah, it's 1,500,000.
Okay. Yeah, so you will get 1,500K as your total benefit. And we already have calculated total cost of ownership because this is 500 plus 200, 700 plus 500. That makes it 1,200K. So then you calculate a number called net benefit, which is your total benefit minus total cost. So this is 1,500K minus 1,200K. So your net benefit is 300K. Then you get a number called return on investments, which is a key financial number a lot of stakeholders look for. So this is net benefits into 100 by investment amount. So for us, it's 300 into 100 by 700, which is our initial investment. So this is about 42% or 43% approximately. Okay. So this is how you compute the number called ROI. Okay. So is 43% a good number or not so good number? Nadia, what do you think? Is it a good number or not a good number?
I think it depends on the strategy.
Correct. And if somebody says, I'll give you 42% return, will you be happy or unhappy?
I would be happy.
Okay. The only thing I would say is just be careful that it is over 5 years period. It's not over 1 year. Okay. So in general, in our mind, when we think of returns, we have an annual return in our mind. Like we say, the bank will give me 4% return. So when we say 4% return, it means 4% annually. That's like an implicit expectation. So if you actually divide this number by 5 years, you'll actually get it as 8%. So this is your annualized return, which is 8%, which is not bad, not something like absolutely fabulous number. If I get something like 15% return on any investment, annual return, I'll be so happy. That means I'm really making a good return on my investment. Okay, then it comes to another number that we compute, which is called payback period, which is essentially the amount of time that you take to recover your cost of change. And how do we compute that? So now look at this number. So we said annual benefit 300K. Of that, we take 100K because 100K is going into maintenance. So what is left with us? Left with us is 300 minus 100, 200K. Initially, we spent 700K. So if we divide that 700 by 200, you will get a number called 3.5 years. So for this project, the payback period is 3.5 years, which is slightly longer duration. If you can get a payback period of 2 years, you're doing quite well. Anything over 5 years, you should be a little bit careful. That means you are actually not getting benefit in the short term. And always remember, long term is always uncertain. No, we can't predict what will happen tomorrow. We can generally predict short term much better than long term. So how many of you predicted something like AI agents will come into our operations. Did you predict that 5 years back? Did anybody had any idea AI agents 5 years back? Very few people, maybe
No.
scientists and some people, yeah, scientists and some people might have some idea, but in business, we did not have much idea. But then they have started working. And in fact, we are piloting an AI agent as we speak. Maybe tomorrow we are going to run a test internally. We have already set it up and see how the AI agent is performing. If the AI agent performs well, maybe we'll scale it up. So we always do a piloting before deploying a new technology. So back to the Excel that I was talking to you. So in this Excel, you'll see a lot of formulas that I have written for you. Some of them are kind of formulas that I created. These are very simple formulas, nothing unusual. They're not explicitly mentioned in Babok, but I still feel as a business analyst, it's important to know. Things like gross margin, like at price, what price you sell an item, what is your variable cost of production. Net margin is your sale price minus total cost of production. Gross profit is gross margin into number of units sold. So anytime you are trying to make your gross profit higher, you have two things. One, either you can focus on making the margin higher or selling more number of line items, units. Then we talk of net profit. Cost of investment is typically a direct number that will be given to you. Cost of change, I explained. Total cost of ownership, I explained. Total benefit, I explained. All these things I explained you through the example. There are some other financial analysis concepts which exist in Babok, but they are unlikely to be asked in the exam because they're a bit more complicated. Things like discounted value. So you can see a very complicated formula. Then there is something called a present value, internal rate of return. These things usually don't come in the exam because they are much more harder to compute. Whereas many often, if you're doing a real project, people will actually ask you, can we get a present value of the investment? What is the net present value that you see? How much is net present value? You may see that. Or an IRR. What is the IRR rate that we are getting? So typically, if your IRR rate is significantly higher than your borrowing rate, that means it's a good project. So you can borrow from the bank, say at 10%. I'm just taking an example. And you are getting an IRR of 15%. It's good. But if you're borrowing at 10% and you're getting an IRR of 11%, then you should be careful again. That means there is hardly any margin for you, and the predicted IRR could actually fall. No, it's just a guess that we are doing in the beginning. So this is the case that I have given you here, is the same case that I explained it in the presentation as well. I also have given the answers here. So you can actually see this. I will, this is very, again, just a way to present the data. And typically, when you are looking at a real life financial analysis technique, you do something like this year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, and what kind of benefits you're expecting, what is being left with you, all that kind of thing is calculated here. The formulas are also present. Okay. I got some questions. Okay. If you are an anonymous person, it's hard for me to unmute you because I need to find you. Okay. I think those who are, okay. Let me unmute everybody. There is no button for me to unmute everybody. So I can't do it. I have to do it one by one. But I think now I have unmuted almost everybody. Yeah. Oh, Tatiana. Okay. Tatiana, any question from you at this time?
So far, no questions. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Who is that?
Oh, that's Tatiana Ishenko. You can call me Tati.
Okay.
Call me
Okay, very
Tati.
good.
What is
Sure.
the
No,
difference?
I can. Go ahead. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
What is the difference between cost of production and cost of change for investment?
Okay. So if you go back, this is not Okay, cost of production would mean cost of development is what I've written. This is what you spend for creating the product or purchasing the product. Okay. Then you add the cost of transition. Then you get cost of change. So cost of change comprises of two components.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. So we were discussing this. So I have all the answers also given to you in Excel. You can follow it at your convenience. Then we look at one very simple calculation called variance analysis. So many of you might have seen this formula as well. So the formula for variance is actual value minus planned value into 100 divided by planned value. Okay. So if my planned value is 500, actual value is 450, my variance is 10% negative. So if this was your revenue, that means you're not doing as much as you should be making in a particular year. Okay. Then we come to another formula, which I would like you to kind of take note of. This formula is nothing but a sum of two factors. Like say, for example, when we are doing a project, we would have a lot of risks. And we need to understand which risks are important for us to work on and what is the total risk for the project. So for that, what we do, we use a formula which is written here again in the PPT. If I come here, okay. So these are some benefits and costs. Don't worry, that I have already explained. Variance analysis I explained. Okay, so this is the formula that we use. Can we just request all of you to stay mute if you are not speaking? Because I get some click click sound in my ear, and that's a little distracting for me. So if you're not speaking, please stay mute. If you have to say something, please unmute. No harm. Okay, so the formula to recognize here is something like this. This is basically a sum of criticality scale into performance rating. So two factors, you multiply and then you add up. So if you observe the risk table, this is what I've done. So I've taken two factors, impact and probability. I'm multiplying them and I'm getting a risk number. And I add it up totally here. So this number is again like a total risk for the project. And as a business analyst, as a project manager, you look at the total risk and see whether this project should be classified as a high risk project or not so high risk project. And often what we also do as part of this activity is to take a look at it and say, I would say, any risk which is above 5 is something that I need to really work on. That means these are high priority risks which I need to look after. Things like what I've said, uncontrolled changes, inadequate planning, stakeholder disagreement. These are things that I need to really work on as a business analyst. Then you have a similar formula which you use, but then you probably divide it by sum of weights. Like I said, the previous formula, it is sum of weight into rating. And again, it is divided by sum of weights, primarily to bring everything down to a 100 scale. See, as human beings, we understand 100 scale very well. No, it's very natural to us. Somebody says, I got 65% in the exam. Okay, you did reasonably well. Somebody says, I got 78% in the exam. Then we understand, oh, okay, this person seems to have done much better than the other person. Okay, so that's why it's always important to bring numbers to a particular denomination, which is 100. Okay, so I have used this formula. And again, it's like almost like the same formula. And I have computed this formula by multiplying things and then by dividing it by E12. Okay, which is this cell. Okay. So this is our sum of weights. So again, very simple calculation, no big deal. Then you will also see a technique called simple decision matrix in Babok, which is essentially a sum of ones and zeros. What is this 1 and 0? 1 means I am trying to select one particular product among the three. I have a factor that I'm looking at. I'm just saying, does this meet this factor? Doesn't it meet? Okay, based on that, whichever product gets the highest number through this, it gets the selection criteria. But the problem with this particular technique or number calculation is it assumes that all these 5 are of equal importance, which may not be the case. So we make it a little bit more complex and we start putting something like an importance or criticality. Okay. So like 5, 3, 4, 2, 4, whatever. And then again, we do a rating and we do the same thing here, like sum of importance into rating, we get a number. In fact, this particular formula is used extensively throughout BABA for many, many techniques. So please remember this formula, not a very hard formula to remember. Then we have something called a decision tree. Again, in decision tree, we multiply 2 things. One, we multiply something called expected outcome into probability. That gives us something called expected value. And then you add expected value, and then you get something called potential value. And in this particular example, what I'm trying to say is for a company, it has 2 choices, like set up a company in a new country or work with a partner. Like say, for example, we do some business in Australia, but it's very hard for us to reach Australia. One time zone difference, it's a different country, different regulation. So we actually found a good partner in Australia, and we do work with them in order to kind of help them get some business, we get some business. Similarly, we are looking for a good partner in Canada as well as we speak. Uh, our presence is largely in US, not outside US. So we are obviously keen to develop partners in UK, South Africa, Switzerland, wherever we find a country where there is some good potential, we would typically work with a partner because there's so many benefits of working with a partner. Then few other places where you will find number-based questions. One is called estimation techniques, and in estimation, you have something called a rough order of magnitude. That's a very plain, simple number, somebody giving you a guesstimate. Then you also understand that one estimate may be wrong, so you ask multiple experts to estimate. And then possibly you reconcile these estimations and you get an estimate, final estimate. So typically, Delphi would be slightly better than rough order of magnitude. Then you have a technique called top-down approach, in which what happens is you have been given a budget, that this is the amount of budget effort that you can spend. And you have different modules to build. And you say, okay, given the criticality of the module, complexity of the module, you allocate certain percentage to that. Okay. And then you get these numbers worked out for that. Okay. So essentially, top down means there is a budget and you distribute. That's a simple percentage calculation. Bottom up is slightly different. In bottom up, we ask the team to estimate and we take a total estimate at the end. Okay. So these estimates are coming from our development team. But again, the problem is these are assuming that everything can be expected very well, which isn't the case in real life. So what we do something called a scenario analysis using a technique called PERT. Okay. So in PERT, what we do, we take one value called expected, one value called optimistic, and one value called pessimistic. And there is a formula here that you can see here. This is a formula, again, you can remember, not a very complex formula. All the formulas are reasonably simple. They're not very complicated. So the formula is 4 expected plus optimistic plus pessimistic divided by 6. So essentially, it's assuming that you have a 17% of probability of going very well, a 66% probability of going as expected, and a 17% probability of going in the wrong way. So this is what is the PERT estimate. Then you have something called a parametric estimate, in which you create a parameter and you say, okay, if I'm building a user interface, I will take about 6 days to build it. I have to build 40 units. So all total, I'll take this much time. Then the last one is called rolling wave. Rolling wave is not necessarily a very numerical technique, but what it is trying to tell us is we do an initial estimate. We start working in the project and we see variances, like I showed you before. And based on the variances, we start adjusting our estimates, so that our estimates become closer to what we are seeing in the product or project. This is it. Okay. So if you follow this Excel workbook, you should not have, generally, I would assume in 95% of the numerical questions, you should be able to answer. Okay, good. I had estimated about 40 minutes for this theory discussion, and I would take maybe another 5-7 minutes just to explain what we do, which I believe all of you know. I don't have time for this case. I'll give you this case as well. But I did quite a good elaborate discussion on the Excel template. So all of you, I know, you know that if you get certified, you do move faster, you get a much better salary, and you also would feel much more proud and high confidence at work. This is something that I have seen with a lot of our past students. So this is a survey that we did, and I'm very glad. In fact, a couple of days back, I was talking to a prospective student, and she has a friend who was our past student. Okay, so that other student said, this person took the training, did not get certified. So I said, okay. But in spite of not getting certified, still she got a good consulting role in a large consulting organization. I said, that's good. I'm glad. Of course, but I would always recommend not only get trained, get certified as well. That's when you get maximum benefit. This is what we do. We basically give you content, we give you expert facilitators, and we are quite sure that our approach works, because otherwise 2,100 students would not be certified with us. We are not talking from an experience of 5, 10, 15 people. It's already more than 2,100, and we're believing that by the year end, it may be about 2,400. And I think all of you remember, we have 3 guarantees on our programs. One is success guarantee, one is a run guarantee, one is a money back guarantee as well. Little bit of these things, so many things we offer, just keep it. So these are the people that you will face or you will interact during the program. Most of our trainers have minimum 20 years as a BA experience. They have been on the board of IIBA, head of IIBA Europe. Multiple of them are IIBA chapter leaders and authors for BABOK as well. You can read all about our feedback. I'll skip this slide. A couple of good resources for you. There is a good Competency Pro app where you can track your proficiency over a period of time. We're thinking of creating a new version for 2025 as well. As the world changes, we also need to change our assessment method. Okay. A couple of interesting information for you. As I said, there is a program starting on 10th May, and there is a program starting on 15th May. And you also get a good discount on CBAP exam voucher if you go with us. But we are going to reduce the exam voucher benefit sometime in near future. Right now, the voucher benefit is $84. We are going to bring it down to $34. That's just not as great news for you, but as a business, we also have to cover our costs. So we said, okay, somewhere we have to find a way to manage our costs better, because it's becoming harder to increase the price. So we said, okay, at least on this product, we can charge $50 more to students. Okay. Then a couple of other value inputs I can give you. There is an option for you to add live training to on-demand training. On-demand training is at about $400. You can pay $150 extra and add the entire 27 hours of live training to your on-demand course. Secondly, if you wish to buy only CBAP question bank, you can do that as well. And that is priced at $149. And the link for that is bit.ly/CBAP question bank. So in case you have already been trained, you're just looking at a question bank, this is a good product to go with. Again, this is a great offer for all of you. So we have a product called Ultimate Plan. If you join the Ultimate Plan, your entire membership fee, application fee, and exam fee will be borne by us. So you don't pay anything for that. And all of you who register for the live classes, you will also be eligible to join a course on generative AI, which is $199 worth. That is something which will run in the month of May and again sometime in August. So we plan to run generative AI course every quarter because we see a lot of interest about business PA communities on generative AI. We have been talking to IIBA for something on that side as well to have a certification on AI, but not very sure when that will come. But you will get a certificate from us, not from IIBA, for the generative AI course. Okay. Good. So thank you. And I think the simplest way to reach us is please note our email address, which is customersuccesscs@adaptiveus.com. And we also have a toll-free number on which you can call. That's about it, what I wanted to cover. And the next program starts in 3 days. So I would urge all of you to take benefit of it. And remember, when you are not getting certified, you're probably losing about 20K per year. That's not a small amount of money that you should let it slip through your hands. So I'm all open for your questions now. So it's all yours now. Okay, let me see. I think some questions have come in the Q&A chat. Let me see if there is something on Q&A. Some of you have raised your hand. Alan, anything you want to ask?
Yeah, Al, and when you were talking about estimates, do you usually include a contingency percentage just in case things don't go well?
So if you are doing WBS, I would add that. But if you're doing PERT, PERT already has a built-in contingency. So with PERT, you don't have to add. But if you're doing WBS based, the bottom up, please add a contingency factor.
Okay,
Yeah?
thank you.
Okay. Then let me see if I can see. Where do I see the other questions? Which is in my way. Let me see. There is any other way to see the questions? Q&A. I'm a little bit confused with Zoom control panel. Sometimes it has so many things appearing. Yeah, I got it. Q&A. Okay. Yeah, Mustafa says, would you share that Excel template? I will do. It's available on our website also. Just go and search for BA Formula Workbook. You will get it. Otherwise, I'll send it. What we shouldn't do as a BA using ChatGPT. I didn't get your question, Mustafa. What is that you are asking me? You're asking me whether we should use ChatGPT or not? You should. It's a tool. So every tool that comes your way, understand the limitations of the tool as well. No, don't trust it blindly. Whatever output comes from ChatGPT, do review it thoroughly to see. In general, I see the tool ChatGPT or any other LLM tool to be 95% correct, but they are 5% incorrect as well. So ratify what you are getting from ChatGPT. Nadia. Okay. Okay. If you want to see all our resources, you can come here. I will show you a link. That's a smart thing to do. Instead of searching through the entire website, go to something called adaptiveus.com/sitemap. Okay. And if you come down, you'll actually find plenty of resources on, sorry. If you come down, this is like our menu structure. And if you come below, all our blogs are listed. So a lot of times you will find things like BI or whatever, ECB exam, cybersecurity, so many things you'll find which has been written over a period of time. Estimation technique, PESEL technique, so many things we write about, but it's like 95% aligned to the analyst world. Okay, then we come down, you have to scroll a bit because there are so many blogs. Okay, and these blogs have been written over an 8-year period. It's not that we started writing yesterday. Okay. Okay. Now come down to something called free templates. Okay. So this is where you will find all our free templates. So there is a link called free resources as well. Let me check. I'm not very sure if the entire free resources would have been updated here, but
I
let me
think I
see.
found it. Is it free Babok formula workbook?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
So
very useful. Thank you.
yeah, there's
The
so many
site
useful
map is very
resources.
useful.
Yeah. So this is a good book. I love it. It's called Free 180 BA Techniques ebook. Um, Read it through. It has many new techniques which isn't there in Babok as well. So I am a very techniques junkie. So I have compiled a list of about 250 techniques, of which I have written already about 108. The remaining 125, 130 techniques, I still have to write down. But it's a big effort, so I'll spend some time and I'm trying to write that. See here, the free Babok formula workbook.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you'll also get CBAP prep plan. That's also something useful for you. There's so many things for CBAP, also some CBAP mock questions. This is again an amazing publication, free 100 IIBA tips. If you're trying to take the exam very soon, you can use the tips guide as well. Okay. Any other question from anybody else?
Hi, Ellen, I have a question more specific to my certification. Should I ask it right now or maybe later or email you?
What is your question?
So I've been CCBA certified for a couple of years, thanks to Adaptive
Okay,
US.
thank you.
But yes, and thank you. And I've been working as a business intelligence analyst for the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I am considering
Should,
taking a CBDA. Well, I
should be
will.
good.
Yeah, but
Should be good.
my question is, do I recertify for CCBA? It's coming up this July, or
Mm-hmm.
do I take CBAP?
I would suggest look through CBAP program because it's the most prestigious one. Why
Okay.
not get certified as CBAP rather than recertifying CCBA? And you already have time in hand, no? So you already have spent time as a BA. Look at CBAP. Hmm?
So
Okay.
I do not keep CCBA and add
No, no,
CBAP.
no,
I just
no,
switch to CBAP.
no. The moment you get CBAP certified, you can request IIBA. Since I have done CBAP, please
Mhm.
retain my CCBA certificate. They will retain it.
Oh, okay.
They'll
Cool.
retain it. Don't worry. Yeah,
Thank,
you can get
thank
it.
you. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think Mustafa has a good question saying, I created a business case, had it reviewed thoroughly, and this was generated by ChatGPT. But my manager asked me, did you use ChatGPT? I said, yes. I had a feeling that they would prefer written it by myself instead of ChatGPT. No, Mustafa. If you did not add anything from your side, then that is not right. No, you are not putting in your mind. But if you are getting a draft from ChatGPT, so I take this way. I apply my thoughts at high level. Okay. Run ChatGPT on my high level thoughts. Ask ChatGPT to add content. So I'm marrying my ideas with GPT's ideas. And if somebody says, I just don't want to look at GPT, they are kind of being in the past. No. And trust me, in a few years' time, systems or computers will be far, far smarter than us. I have no doubt about it. They will drive better, they will cook better, they will sing better than us as well. So, not leveraging a tool that is available is not a great idea. Okay. Anybody else? Any other question? No? Okay. Then let me thank you again for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to meet business analysts around the world. And I always see some of you are our past students as well, which is a good thing because usually in the past, our past students ignored these webinars because they said, okay, we are already certified or we are already trained. But I'm seeing many of them coming back and joining the webinars, which is a very positive sign. And it's also a refresher for them. I wish all of you good luck with your CBAP preparation. And I hope I will see some of you in our training programs. And remember, with support, what you will achieve in 6 months, without support, it will take you 2 years or 3 years. So you're saving a significant time. And also, it is letting you to take advantage of things quicker than what you would have done it by yourself. Okay. Thank you and have a lovely day or lovely evening, depending on where you are. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you.